Hey everybody, I wanted to do a video today to share a science kind of novel literature and science unit that we just finished for my 3rd grader and my 6th grader. If you've been following, you know that we've tried to do a little more of that this year where we read a novel and we do a science tie-in with it. So this one was about energy and electricity. And normally we all read the same book, but for this one, I wanted to do the book City of Ember, and my daughter had already read that, so I let them each read separate books. So my son read City of Ember, and my daughter read Max Einstein, The Genius Experiment. And both of these deal with energy or electricity in some way, so they were both a really good tie-in. So as they read their books, they just did some summaries. Like every day that they read, they wrote a summary, drew a picture, made a cover for it at the end. So that's kind of what we did with that. And then I had read both the books, so I was able to discuss them with them. And then while we were doing those, the two main books that we used were these two right here. Also, actually, I should start with, I kind of wrote out a list of kind of learning objectives that I wanted to cover. And so we did that, but that kind of helped guide me in what I was choosing to use for this unit. The book we used the most was this energy, Why We Need Power and How We Get It, with 25 projects. So there are 13 chapters in here. And the way we use this is I would read a chapter out loud to them. They would take notes on that chapter in their science notebook. So I would read either while I was reading or after I was done reading. They would work on that. And then at the end of these chapters, there are some different activities that you can do. Now, we didn't do every single activity in here. In fact, there were a couple chapters we didn't do activities with at all. But we did this energy converter one, and they thought that was really cool. There was at least one we couldn't get to work. This lemon battery one, we couldn't get that to work. We did this one. We did this one. This one was really cool. They liked that with the hydrogen. Let's see. We did this coal mining experiment. They really liked that. We did this chain reaction bowling one. That was a good one. What else did we do? We did this solar laser. And that might be it for the ones we did in here. But this was a really good book. I thought it was a really good kind of spine to guide us through. Now, what I did when we were partway through this book is I bought this pack off of Teachers Pay Teachers that covered different energy topics that we had covered in the book. So after we had gone through, then we went back through and did these little booklets. I can't say that I recommend these because there were a ton of typos in them. And I did contact the creator and she's going to be fixing them. But these were a good kind of way for us to go back and recall what we had learned when we read through the energy book and visit that information again to make sure we understood it. So that was really good, a good addition as well. And then also what we did is we pulled this book called How Your House Works, because I really wanted a real life application of what we were learning. And there is a section in here on wiring in your home. And my dad was really helpful with this. We went and visited him and he pulled a whole bunch of stuff for the kids to work with. They were able to use a device he had to go around to the house and measure the energy in certain things. He was able to show them the breaker box and, you know, the electrical panels and how those work. He had a receptacle that they were able to practice wiring up. They were able to strip the insulation off a wire to see how to work with that. He had a solar panel that he uses for his RV that he was able to pull out, and they were able to use to charge their devices. So that was really cool. So we just used this book to kind of guide us through some different things in the home, and then he was able to give them some hands-on things to do. So this was a really good tie-in. I'm glad that we did that, and that really just made this whole unit, in my opinion. We had a few books in our home already that they read through independently. My daughter had already read this one before, but she read it again, and then my son read it for the first time. And so that was a really good addition. This was a really fun one that we had picked up at Half Price Books a while ago, and so they were able to go through, and this is kind of like a more interactive one. So they really enjoyed that. And then this was one, I think my daughter read this one, but not my son. But just had a lot of interesting information, she said. We already have the Who Was Thomas Edison and Who Was Nikola Tesla book that I think my daughter had already read, so I didn't pull those out again. But these were just like some fun additions. Also, what I don't have to show you is, because we had to return them to the library, I got 3 DVDs from the library. 2 were Bill Nye DVDs. One was on static electricity, and I think the other one was on current electricity. And then also there was a How Things Work, or The Way Things Work, electricity, that DVD that they really liked as well. When we finished up the unit, they had to kind of go back to the book that they read, write out what the problem was in the book, and then they had to come up with a solution that was different than the solution that they came up with in the book. So that was just kind of a way to tie the novels back into it, and that was really fun as well. And depending on their age, you can see some were more involved, some were less involved, but that was a really good tie-in as well. And then to finish it off, we borrowed the movie City of Ember from the library to watch as a family, and then we also played a board game called Power Failure. I think it's called Power Failure. Let me grab it. So we also played this game, which was a lot of fun. So that was kind of our science literature unit that we did, and it was a lot of fun. I feel like the kids really enjoyed it. It was nice to really pull in and tie it into some real life situations as well as our literature. So it was good. I'm glad we made time for it. Do my kids know everything there is to know about electricity? No, but they know a lot more than they did when we started, yes. And I wanted to lay a foundation, and then in future years we can build on that again. I think it's important to revisit topics that you've already covered. So that's what we will do. So that's how we studied energy. If you have any questions, let me know.